Matthew chapter 1 lists the genealogy of Jesus through Joseph. And that genealogy goes through, well, it starts with Abraham, goes to David, to Solomon, goes to a very wicked king and his grandson who was Jehoiakim, who was even Manasseh was the wicked king, and he taught his children and his grandchildren to sin, but then he repented, but his grandkids forgot about that and they were more wicked than he was. So finally Jehoiakim, God said through Jeremiah, none of your descendants will ever sit on the throne. And Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar came, Jehoiakim, his offspring were deported, 70 years of captivity. But back to Matthew chapter 1. It's an amazing story. We go from Abraham to David to Solomon to Manasseh to Jehoiakim, right on down to a Jacob and his son Joseph, who was espoused to a virgin whose name was Mary, of whom was born Jesus the Christ. You know that story, don't you? Well, we got a real problem. Either Jeremiah was wrong when he said none of your descendants will sit on the throne, or David's descendants through Solomon, through Manasseh, through Jehoiakim, through this Jacob, through Joseph, will never sit on the throne, but there's Jesus. But the news is Joseph was not the father of Jesus. That was the technical lineage. Luke chapter 3 describes the actual physical human lineage of Jesus when he was about 30 years of age. Then his lineage was declared, his personal lineage, and it went back to Joseph the guardian. Listen real closely. Joseph was his father in the sense of the guardian of the home, whose father was Heli. Wait a minute. You got another contradiction. Really? I thought Matthew said Joseph's daddy was a Jacob. It did. But Luke says Joseph's daddy was Heli. And then it goes in an entirely different direction. Not through the kings at all. It ends up back at David and then goes from David back to Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham. Goes back to Adam and back to God. All of that in this other lineage. Well, who's right? They're both right. In that world, your father-in-law could be claimed as your own father. It was Mary's father who was Heli. Joseph's father was a Jacob, not the original Jacob. So from Mary, back through her father, all the way back to Nathan, back to David, then back to Jacob and Isaac and Abraham, back to Adam, back to God. We have the personal lineage of Jesus Christ. So therefore, he will sit on the throne. The throne of David is named after Messiah Jesus himself. He will sit on the throne in spite of Manasseh and Jehoiakim, and in spite of the good intentions and will of the good man Joseph. Jesus is uncontaminated.